I like swiping, I like blinging, I like shining, I like $1 billion kills. Where's the X? Bitch, I'm flying. I like those big fat Minakawas, the ones that look like blocks. I like going to my builders, fill their hangars with square rocks. I like contracts with my contacts when they want to give me stuff. I like rolling on my cores, pimping stats and maxing buffs. They call me Queen Kawari, banging body, spicy mommy, hot tamale, hotter than New Caldaria, micro warper us. Start to hop at the blue, jump in the feed. Neon gas core, slapped on the hood, popping off missiles as far as I can. Intense max and avoiding the scan. X-type trim space daddy, yo. Snugly just like Mario. Yeah, call me Kawario, and I run this ship with Taylor. Though, damn, Batman District in the name. Skills high, you know I'm getting hot, drop, rock and range. Oh, who's our Santa? What's his name?
Echoes of New Eden. Oop. It's going to be just barely in the background. Hopefully it's not going to be too loud as I talk over. We got a lot to go over today. There's a ton of things that happened all around New Eden, as well as stuff that happened outside of New Eden, and we're going to cover that as well. So we've got a little bit of everything to share with you tonight. Community news, Eve Echoes news, Eve Online news that relates to Eve Echoes news, new games, new game modes, new ships, all kinds of OG continues to implode, all kinds of things going on in New Eden. We're going to cover all of that and more tonight. It is just me, no Rambo, no Damon Zell might pop in at some point. We'll see. Don't know yet. But we'll kind of keep it going, keep it fresh as we roll on. We're at 24 in the channel, so we only have one more. Room for one more to join us over on Discord. After that, you're going to be going on to YouTube. We got 2 or 3 guys over on YouTube right now as well. So, good stuff. Yeah, Kawari could be here if she wants to. I know Kawari's kind of got a lot of stuff going on in real life right now, as we all do. So she hasn't been quite as active as she normally is. Ah, there's Rambo. He's listening in. Oh, now that Rambo's listening, I have to say in my perfunctory, this show must go 1 hour and 30 minutes, but there's so much content in this one tonight, it's quite possible that I wind up going longer than that, even if I speak for really fast. Oh, there's Corey. So, stop music? Yeah. Is it too loud? I'll stop it. Can you not hear me over that music? Anyway. Get over to the main notes. Make music louder. Yeah. It's a great song. We can just play it again in its entirety at the end of it, but want a lunatic to come talk with you. Yeah. Yeah, Latorra. Hey, you might as well. If you're ready and you want to come on, I'll unmute you. That's fine. You've been on the show before. You know how this rolls. You are not server muted now. So come on over when you can. You can unmute yourself when you're ready. No big deal. So like I said, there's a whole lot going on. New intro next week. Yeah. We've got no dev Q&A. We've got the Moby Killboard updates. OG's falling apart. Devs delayed Duo Omega giveouts from the first trivia show that I did this week. There's a big delay in that, so we'll talk about it. CCP Fanfest and the devs from Eve Echoes actually joined, so that's awesome. BLOPS incoming. We've got a trailer or a little video we'll throw in there for that. And of course, Bradrick, yes, we're going to get to the balance patch. Eve 4x strategy game is announced. That's going to be coming out soon, as well as an Eve first-person shooter. All those things are dropping by the end of this year. It's unbelievable. And then, of course, we'll go into a commercial break. And after that, we'll actually get into a breakdown, a deep dive of the balance patch and everything that it means for the game. But first, before we get into all of that, because that's quite a bit, and it's going to take us a while, let's talk about, Dust 514 reboot. That's pretty much what they showed us. It looked pretty good to me, but, obviously proof is in the pudding. We'll see if it actually is once they release it. But yes, it's coming this year. So, with all of that said, Yeah, balance buff. It wasn't a balance patch. It was a balance buff. Kind of true, actually, Noir. Kind of true. I got a little monologue. I'm going to shoot this from the hip. But there's just so many good things happened this week. So many good things. And not just with this balance patch, but with some of the things we've heard from the devs, some of the things that the content creators have heard, and then the stuff that we heard at FanFest, and come to find out on Friday, the devs were there. All of that said, with the direction the game seems to be going, in my opinion, it just feels like it's going up and up and up. And so this is my 30-second hype train. I have always had a blast with this game. I've always had a blast with it. And I'm not, it's not lost on me that I'm in a little bit different situation than most. Same thing with Rambo, right? We're both CEOs. I didn't start this game as a CEO. I didn't want to be a CEO. I reluctantly became one when it was just obvious that if I didn't, then this kind of cool, fun, quirky Rick and Morty themed corp I was in was going to have some problems. And I enjoyed, even at the time, I was sort of a casual player. We were in Providence and I was casual. But I absolutely loved the game and thought it was fun and wanted to see things continue. And so I reluctantly became a CEO. And that puts me in a different position than most players of this game. Just the fact that you're an active CEO with an active corporation. And it's not lost on me that I'm also a little bit more than that at this point now. XO of Silent Fed, FC sometimes, lead Yeeter right here. I don't know if I'd call myself a lead doctrine maker, honestly, Slippy. You know how that goes when JD's involved. It's pretty much JD rolls it out and says, "What do you guys think? Okay, here it is. We're doing it. Done. Move on." That's kind of how it goes. But hey, props to him where props are due. 9 times out of 10 they're correct. Every once in a while when he's not, large group shield boosters. That's right. All fits. So anyway, no. I just see a lot of great things happening with this game. We've had 2 years now where honestly, the changes that the devs have put into place. The little tweaks here and there, sometimes frustrating, sometimes annoying, sometimes a setback. But guys, recall, it's been 2 years now where local's not really been broken. We've had all year where, major, massive amounts of black screens and desyncs haven't really been a thing. I mean, yeah, they happen every once in a while, but it's a mobile game, right? Some guys are playing on tin cans. So, it is what it is. That's going to happen sometimes. Does it mean we can't have big fights? No, it doesn't anymore. I don't think that's the case. Yeah, wait until the next patch. I know. I know. Wait until the next gotcha game comes out, right? I mean, that's a thing. That's annoying. But you also don't have to participate in those. So, at any rate, I'm just ecstatic about it. I'm having a good time, and I see great things for the future. I know everybody likes the old adage, Eve is dead, Eve is dying, Eve is constantly dying. Eve Online's been dying for 20 years. This game's been dying for 3. It's only been around for 3. I know it's kind of a joke. It's kind of a thing. It's kind of what we all throw around with one another. But there's a reason why those of you who are listening right now are here. You love the game too. In some ways, you might love to hate the game, but you do love the game. That's why you're here. You enjoy it. Something about it you enjoy, whether it's the camaraderie, whether it's the drama that comes out of all these major alliances and these talking heads or the leaders of some of these groups and the banter they have back and forth with others. The server wars, the not server wars, the drama between who's fighting with Meow now or who's fighting with AOA or who's killing Void or why is Vetimune dying for the 15th time this week. We're going to have a funny one with that one, by the way, today when we get into one of the updates. So, it's all those things. We all love it. So, yeah, Hans, exactly. Exactly. Some of us just love getting reamed, and that's Hans. So, that's having a slow week. That's See? We love this. This is what's great. That's great. I did have... Oh, you did. Oh, you had lunch with Agnes, Rambo. You got to tell us about that. Agnes is famous in the Fed, by the way, for those of you listening who don't know this. Agnes is the CEO of S.H.I.E.L.D., also a former Care Bears with Gun Corp that moved over to Silent Fed like my corp did, like all of Care Bears did. He's famous, though, because he once shared a picture Somehow we could see his balls hanging out of his pants. That's about all I'll say with that one. But he shared it to everybody and the whole Fed on Discord, and it was hilarious. Oh, did I just lose Discord? I think I just lost Discord. Maybe I didn't. Oh, I didn't. Something else is popping up. Anyway, so yeah, it was hilarious. It was hilarious. Yeah, he just about got banned. He just about got booted. So, oh well, what can we say? It's Agnes. So, maybe I did get booted for saying balls. Who knows? All right, so that's my quick little monologue. I think the game's great. I love the game. Thank you guys for being here and enjoying it with me. I got a great corp, too, so I guess that plays into it. And, of course, I do play the game with I'm lucky I get to play the game with Quarry, so that's awesome. All right, so as I said in the opener, no dev Q&A this week. That's 2 weeks in a row. There's a reason for that. The devs are actually having a holiday coming up, I think on the 26th. So in 2 days, they're going on some sort of a holiday. But they really haven't been active or around over the last 2 weeks either. I'm not 100%. Yeah, we got to do that, Latorra. I'm not 100% sure what's going on with that on the back end. I have to think that it has to do something with the huge balance patch that just rolled out, and any kind of Q&A they're doing to clean that up. Any kind of bugs they're seeing, reports they're seeing, they're probably swamped with some of that. I haven't seen any major bugs. I haven't seen any major issues with this update. If you guys have, let me know. That would be great to know because I haven't really heard anything. Yeah, they are finishing the Titan update that's coming around. And, of course, they went to Fanfest in Reykjavik along with CCP. Some of the devs did. I haven't gotten it confirmed that Cloud went. If he went, then that's huge. I kind of feel like he'd be the only dev I'd really care that he went. Cloud has a passion for this game. He has a passion for EO. And I think that would be fantastic if they sent him. But they sent some people. I just don't know who yet. Hopefully we'll find out in the next week. So that's part of why they've been a little quiet since the balance patch hit, and why when we did our first content creator trivia show, like we do right here on this Discord, we did it over on the Eve Echoes, the main Discord, and it was kind of screwed up at first. We had a hard time with it. I've actually got a recording. I need to post that on our YouTube so that people can see it, understand how the game is played. It's very quick. It's 20 minutes. It took 20 minutes to give away 18 Duo Omegas, and we're going to do it again. Maybe not 18 every week, but at least 4, maybe 8. Somewhere in there is probably what we'll wind up with being able to give away every week. For those of you that showed up and won, know that your Duo Omegas are going to go out. We've got a sheet shared between myself and the other content creators, Mario, Jubilees, Rambo, Damon, that are going to be giving away. Actually, Jubilees can't give away his duos for that week. He had to give them to his fan club. That's what Juby said. So maybe next week he'll have 4 or maybe 2 out of his 4 that he can give away, or whenever we do the trivia again. We got to wait a little bit until the devs come back and actually give us the form that we have to fill out with all the player IDs we collected, and then it takes about 2 weeks. I used to say a week, week and a half, and it really is a week, week and a half, but I now say 2 weeks. Usually on the turnaround, just because in between the time someone wins, if it's on a Tuesday, I don't want them to think they're going to get it the following Tuesday, because usually if I turn the stuff in between a Tuesday and a Thursday, that's when I usually try to do it every single week. Then by the following Friday, or even that weekend, they've got their Duo Omega. But if I say 2 weeks, then they know, there's none of this checking on it at a Tuesday, then again on a Wednesday kind of thing, and because I don't have the bandwidth to keep up with 8 to 18 worth of those. 2 at a time is fine, but any more than that's kind of hard. So anyway, so just for those who played or who are on the main Echoes Discord who are wondering when that's coming, it is delayed, but it is coming. We'll get those to you. So thanks for playing. We're going to do it again. Okay. Next thing, Mario Killboard update. So I'm going to post. Let's see. Where's my other window? I've got to post a. Got to do this again. Oh, no, I'll do it here. Here we go. Moby. Echoes.mobi. M-O-B-I is the website. The new update that he rolled out today actually allows you, on the Killboard side, where you can go corporation versus corporation within the last 24 hours. So you can see, I don't know where this link is. I'm looking at the kill board now, and I just see top kill board stuff, but I don't see where that link is for battle report. Here we go. So if you click on the three lines in the upper left-hand corner, you'll see one that's called battle report. And I'm going to clip that and post that over on the Discord so you can see it. And it's called the battle report. And what's nice about it is you can select the last 24 hours, the last 7 days, the last 30 days. So I'm going to select the last 30 days. Team 1 is going to be FKG. And Team 2 is going to be Catskill. And we're going to see how many times Bot 5 has killed Catskill in comparison to each other in the last 20 days. That says nothing. So I did that wrong. Let's do that again. Last 30 days. It is FKG, isn't it? FKG for one of the Bot 5, the main Bot 5 one, right, Bradrick? I'm pretty sure it is. And Catskill is it CSKL, right? That's their ticker. You got to know the tickers and get those right. That's where the problem probably. Yeah, FKG SCKL. Generate. Okay. There we go. So in the last 30 days, Bot 5 has killed 1 point. I'm going to paste this up so you guys can see this too. This is kind of fun. And then we can do any corpse you want, except for mine, because mine's going to be bad. I'm kidding. I'll do mine too. I don't care. Whatever. Yeah, it's all of those. We can add all of those. You're right. We can add a whole bunch of them. There's what it looks like. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Honk versus honk. Blue on blue. But yeah, FKG versus Catskill. FKG has killed 1.2 trillion with a T in the last 30 days. Catskill hasn't managed to kill a single player in Bot 5. That's hilarious. That's great. I love it. And then with honk, you've got tied. 1 frigate. Good job. Who else can we get on this? This is fun. Let's see. I'll go back. Let's see. Let's do last 30 days. Let's do like red 1. Let's do panned. Let's do big. Let's do Zan. I don't know. Zan probably doesn't have any kills. This probably hurts our ratio. Let's do X. And let's do CRB. That'll be huge. And then let's put that against Void. Just straight up Void. And then Cat Skull. And then who are the other ones that we showed on that list? Because I need to get all those in here. CS. Someone read them out. I got that screen covered. CS. Yeah, CSKC. That's another one. What's the next one after that? Hold on. No, I'm live on air. Well, you're going to have to wait a minute. Okay. All right. There they are. Okay. CSKD. RNSI. What about some OG guys? It's AL and let's see, AL, MI, term. I don't even know who the hell term is. I wish you could do just straight up alliance versus alliance, but you can't. So, and this is very interesting. This is very interesting. You're not going to believe these results. And obviously we're missing some things here. Yeah, MI is now Burr. Yeah. Whoa. MI is now Burr. I thought it was just AL that's now Burr. AL went to Burr. I didn't hear about MI, so you have to tell me something on that when you're able to get on. Yeah, exactly. Okay. But look at those differences, just comparing that. Obviously, I'm missing some people that might help, but I'm moving. Yeah, there's Red. He's like, what? Those are pretty close. 92 to 89. Big is probably Big and Zan are probably pulling that way down. But that's fun to sit and do and get real-time data on. So if you had a fight that day, I don't know about MI moving to PER, but AL is for sure. That's 100%. I do know that for a fact. If MI is, that's all news to me. So this is kind of a cool feature. I like it. If you had a big fight that day, you can kind of go back and then see if everything that you had in your fleet log was actually matched up with that fight, if it's missing anything, if the numbers look correct, those kinds of things. It's another thing that the fleet commanders specifically, I think, will love to be able to go back and look at and use and then be able to judge over time how well they're kind of doing. It is a little bit of a tricky to get all of the corp tickers in there that you need. But if you were doing, if you're doing your due diligence that day for that fight, you would know who you were fighting. So it wouldn't be quite so bad to go and pick every single corp ticker on the server from my standpoint. So fun stuff. Make sure to go over to echoes.mobi battle report. Here it is. Here's the main link. Play around with that feature, test it out, break it, give Mario something to do. He always enjoys that. He says he's still losing money every month on this app, so we don't want to see that happen. Go into his Patreon if you can, and give him $1 a month or something. Help a brother out. Keep this thing going. Keep it live. It's as close as we're going to get to an API with any kind of legitimacy of actual kill modes in game that we can kind of track. And I know Void isn't on. They say they're not on echoes.mobi, but they are because their kills are all getting posted. So. And some of their players are posting kills as well, Vetamune, for instance. So always fun to go over there and check that out. All kinds of cool stuff. All kinds of cool stuff. Let me double check this. Yeah. Okay, hold on just 1 second, guys. Okay, that was a huge delay. Sorry about that. When it rains, it pours, like I said earlier. Anyway, it is what it is. All right. I'll have to cut that out for the podcast. That'll be funny. Watch me not recall that. Okay. Where was I? We got done with the MobiBot. Yeah, okay. So let's just lead in with that. Okay. I don't know if... what was that? You guys can hear me now, right? We're still good? Yeah, okay. Latorra, were you going to unmute at any point? You are... able to be unmuted, I believe. Pretty sure you can. I don't even see you in comms. There you are. You are not. You can't unmute. Okay, mute. Unmute. Try now. There you go. I mean, I can tell you're unmuted on my end. I'll give Latorra a second. Okay. Like we were saying in OG, OG continues to kind of fall apart a little bit. AL has left and has gone to Burr. And I've got a statement that was put up on Reddit. So I'll come back here and post that. That was put up a few days ago. I kind of liked this Reddit post. Now if I can scroll up and find it. I had it saved, and then with all that crap that just happened, I lost it. So, shit. That's probably too far back. Yep, that's too far back. Apologize for our quick little technical difficulties here. As always, it wouldn't be an Echoes of New Eden podcast if we didn't have some sort of technical difficulties right in the middle of it.
I think I might be fixed.
There you are. I can hear you now. Yeah. It is just AL, right? Yeah,
I
that
believe
one.
so. I just always get those two confused. Like in my mind, I always thought they were the same corp.
Oh, yeah, no. And I can't find it now, so whatever. I'm going to stop trying to scroll around and fuck around and find that. But yeah, that one right there. with AL leaving. Lofty, you tell us. What's that leave in OG? I mean, it's MI and that's about it, right? Is it just MI? Is it just down to MI or?
I think IDSM are still pretty active, and a Spanish corp. Pretty aggressive when you fly through their space, but
yeah,
my corp decided to pull out of OG space 3-4 weeks ago because it was just quiet. Like, we were just running into silent.
yeah.
But I don't know, I think OG put up a good stand, right? Like, they've held in there, but there ain't much they can do against straight up might of Silent and Co.
Yeah, not at this point. We'll see how it goes with Void. It's going to be a little bit different story because Void's already called in AOA and they've switched all their timers to be hull tanking again. So we'll see how that goes. It feels to me a little bit like a TSC situation all over again. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
I think it's really going to depend on are all the entities that were a part of, what did we call ourselves again?
Crab Coalition.
That's the one. I was there and I forgot. If all
so
these
memorable,
entities
right?
can come back together, I've been very busy in the last couple of weeks, Taylor.
I'm just giving you shit.
We've been setting fires in Fountain, as is the rite of passage, I believe, for
exactly.
pretty much any group.
Yep.
I think looking at the state of things, that it's just don't think it's possible for one or two of the entities to actually stand up to Silent alone, or two of them. I think it would literally take a concerted effort from ESC, Boop, Burr, Void, what's left of OG, and AOA. Because the numbers were never there for CTAs for us on our side of things.
No. The numbers are certainly there in that APAC time zone when AOA gets involved. Last Saturday, I want to say there was 400 plus for AOA up in Tenal.
Oh, for sure. And as long as they can pay their guys.
Yeah.
I believe they pay their guys for CTAs.
They do. Anywhere from 100 to 500. Depends on how desperate they are.
So, I mean, as long as AOA can bring those numbers, sure, but there's only going to be so long they're willing to do that, even for their allies, and even long-term allies.
Yeah. Yeah, they can't do that for... Well, I'd like to say that they can't do that forever, but from what I've seen so far for this entire year, they've done it this entire year. They've had short stints here and there where they haven't had to do it, but for the most part, they've done it whenever there was a major CTA needed, or a CTA needed, any major hull timers that AOA was going to be at, they've done that every single time, and they pay more if your pilot has implants. They, they pay more for the cat pilots to show up, and they consistently do it. So I'd say that they've got deep enough pockets to be able to do that for as long as they need to. Now, if they had to do it 3-4 times a week all across the entire map, maybe that would speed things up for burning that wallet that they have. But, the KFC empire makes a lot of money.
For sure. Like, the AOA guys, obviously, they're big enough to be able to afford to pay 400 pilots to show up every weekend or so, right?
Yeah.
It's almost it's getting to the point where it's like, how long are they going to be willing to do so, especially if they're going for timers outside of their time zone? Because there's only so much time off someone can have before they start having to prioritize differently.
Right. Well, we'll see what happens. As really, from my standpoint, it feels like the OG side of that conflict down there is winding down, and the Void side of it is starting to heat up. And of course, they've got their Pact 2023. Burr's now on that server, along with Void and OG. And then, of course, whenever they partner up with AOA, they still run their stuff on Pact 23. So it's kind of the beginnings of reforming of CC a little bit. but it's really just with those three entities, and then when AOA helps.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably going to be enough to stave off it being a complete like steamroller, right? Like,
Yeah.
if they're able to time zone tank, because I know Silent is willing and is able to put numbers on grid in Asian time zones.
You bet.
But it's also that thing is like you've got the guys who are either taking days off work to do so, waking up stupid early, like, whereas like obviously AOA, if it's Chinese Prime, like they're going to be better form and probably more numbers. It's going to be the Firefly War all over again for Silent.
For sure. Yeah, for sure it will be. And I think for a lot of us that's fine. I don't.
For sure. Yeah.
I think for a lot of us we're okay with that. We're in a different position. You know, I'm not even with what my role is in the Fed. I don't want to sit here and speak for the Fed. That's not what I should really do on the show, and that's not really what my role is anyway. But I will say this: from my point of view, the Federation the Silent Fed is in a very different position now than where we were in November and December of last year. Not only do we have more pilots than we did at that point, we've got more pilots that are better equipped at this point as well, and we're even more entrenched in Declan than we were before the war started, if that makes any sense. I'm not sure if that.
Sure.
For some that have the tactical mind, and for some who can really look at a map layout and who's where and why, and for those who have kind of mapped out where jump bridges are and how they work, I think they understand what I mean when I say that. But if you don't, I guess the long and short of that is we're in a better position to defend ourselves than we were at the beginning of the server war back in December. And honestly, some of that, I mean, I'll just be frank, some of that was when it all started. Zen was trying to leave as executor. I literally was in the job as military director for 1 week. Looking back on it, and I even asked at the time, like, why the hell do you have me in this role? I feel like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And looking back on it now, then versus now, I kind of didn't. I mean, I did a little enough, but not enough. Not for that level of it. So I was very glad to have JD come back into it. Motorella kind of be in the background a little bit and come back into it. And some of those guys who had kind of been through major campaigns and could kind of get back into the roles that they're best at. So. And not only that, but Honk left, so that really sucked. I really got pissed at Slippy because I wasn't going to be able to see his snide comments in our Fed chats anymore. I was really mad.
How rude. I mean, can't they just like stay and just have the snide comments and do their own thing in game?
Yeah, exactly. Nothing had to change, but they're like, yeah, fuck this, we're out. We're going to be quiet for like 2 months and see what happens.
No, it's funny you say that you were like, oh, I wasn't ready for this, or I didn't really know what I was doing. It's like, it's kind of how I go through this game myself, Taylor. Like, I've ended up in leadership several times in a couple of different alliances, and I have no idea how.
Yeah. Well, it's the willing, right? So
I just show up and do stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in some cases, that's really what it takes. Just showing up and doing things. Even if you're not effective at first, you'll become effective because you'll figure out.
You trying to say I'm not effective, Taylor?
No. Not at all. I'm just saying. No worries.
Rambo, I'm just saying that when you listen to this back, Taylor's got someone here as a guest and they're just non-stop insulting them. This is really just not on.
Ripping you apart. Yeah, so I mean,
I've always seen like the guys who end up in leadership who were never intending to seem to be the better ones for the job anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Story of so when we first left Burr, we formed a small corp called FFMJ. No dig at MJD. It's just one of our. Well, the guy whose idea it was is MJ. So we put his name on there and told everyone to focus fire him. Our CEO for that, like we jokingly made someone the CEO who missed the first officers meeting. Did a great job. Yeah, missed the meeting, became CEO.
That's how it works, right? That's how it works.
Yeah, you never miss a meeting, never volunteer. Stuff gets done eventually.
It does. All right, let's go into the week that was. As far as all the major news, we got hit from an unexpected source, the FanFest for EVE Online. The first thing that came out of that I saw that just was like, holy shit, was this little clip right here that's up on Twitch. I'm going to play it. It's kind of fantastic. I'm going to try to play it. I'll put it that way. Listen to the audio here together.
EVE Echoes continues to bring the EVE experience to mobile, and later this year they're releasing new area of space with new enemies and new rewards. New ships will be introduced, including the advanced Black Ops battleship for even more sneaky pew-pew.
Sneaky pew-pew.
So, last year at...
Sneaky pew-pew.
Sneaky pew-pew. I mean, can't be the only person who is probably way too excited about the idea of Black Ops, right?
Exactly. Now, she says a couple of things in there that I think have already happened. When she says new space, I think she means Cobalt Edge. I don't know if they're going to add yet more new space. That could potentially be a thing, but I think what she was going over is the stuff we got in the last month throughout the end of the year. I don't think she means there's more new space being added in. Maybe there is. Maybe they'll open another region in Cobalt Edge. I have no idea. New enemies is obviously the Waste Keepers and all that stuff that's going on. If they add another region, that's great. That'd be cool. But the big thing there, you're right, Black Ops. Now let's talk about that for a minute, what that means overall. The first thing that I came, and you had a different take on this when we talked about this earlier today, but my first thought on it was what's the IP of those fucking things going to be?
Oh, for sure. I almost feel that the best thing to do quickly, Taylor, would be to explain to people what a Black Ops is. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
You and I know, anyone who played EO probably knows, but we probably have some people here who are Echoes only.
True. True. Fair point.
Would you like me to?
Yeah, go for it.
Go through.
Yeah.
No.
You got a better handle on the ships and the weapon types than I do, because I don't think those. In fact, I know for a fact that BLOPS were not in the game when I stopped playing EVE Online. I don't think they were there yet.
Ah, fair.
Yeah.
So Black Ops battleships, I believe there's 5 of them in the game in EO. Got 4 for each, 1 for each of the major factions, and you've got the Marshal, which is the Concorde ship, same as the Enforcer. Sort of idea behind them is they're covert ships, that they're basically there to be getting around sneaky pew pew and all that. They are covert enabled ships, but they don't use CovOps cloaks, they use regular cloaks.
So they have a delay or no?
No lock time delay.
Okay, so regular cloak, which means we'll probably get a covert ops cloak for ours.
For sure. That's my. I think we discussed earlier. Again, we think that's the case. But obviously, they are based around the Typhoon hull, Onyx hull, Scorpion hull, and the Armageddon hull. Off of general Echoes conventions, that probably means we're getting a missile boat, 2 drone boats, and a all turret or all missile boat, like with the Scorp. But they look really interesting. If they bring Black Ops Sinos as well, that's going to be incredible. Which is, again, it's a Sino that I believe doesn't show up on your overview, and basically dump entire fleets of CovOps enabled ships around the map. So that'll be good fun, and I don't believe it gets interfered with Sino-jammers. So
that would be
well.
amazing, because the jammers themselves are such a pain in the ass, because you can't kill them, you can't take them down, you can't get around them. The only thing you can do when you reinforce them is take them down to a level, 2 points of jammer strength, but you can't overcome 2. You only get 1, so you have to have it get down to 0 basically. But yeah, that's going to be amazing if you're able to light a Sino that nobody can see, and it's immune to a jammer. I don't think they'll do that.
Oh yeah,
I don't think they'll do that.
Not sure, because it's really going to depend on how the ships interact. I mean, knowing NetEase, it's a new ship. They're calling it an advanced battleship. It's going to be T10. So it's going to be strong.
And that's fine.
Are they going to be strong enough for large fleets of them to be a realistic threat? I'd assume so. Are they strong enough for a couple to be a realistic threat? I'd say maybe. It's very much going to be it's going to depend on role bonuses, if they're going to get the E-War bonuses that they get in EO.
Reaper brings up a good point.
Depend on so much.
It's going to depend on a lot, and Reaper brings up a good point. He says they'll do it because you can imagine the amount of IP they'll get bought up. Yeah, I mean, well, okay, so let's switch gears, because we can speculate on what these ships will do and what specs they'll have and what they should have if they're straight out of EO. And if a Marshal comes in, fuck yeah, I want a Marshal. But with that said, let's look at the other side of it. On parts of it that, no, I don't know for sure are going to happen, but boy, I'm like, bet me now, 99% sure. Not only will the IP be very expensive, it'll be very expensive because it'll be built with components out of Cobalt Edge. The PI that drops from the rats, which isn't really PI, but whatever, it's still in the planetary category on the market. That drives me nuts. The gas, the C-70 gas, will be used. All of that stuff is going to be used. Therefore, it's going to be a very expensive ship to make. And I suspect Titans will use all that material as well. Why not? I think everything that's coming, and if it's based on a Scorpion hull, then guess what? You're going to need a Scorpion to make it. You're going to take a Scorpion, you're going to use all the new materials and some extra shit that they throw in, and boom, now you've got your upgraded Black Ops, Covert Ops ship.
For sure. Like, I'd say that's very much a possibility in terms of the way they've been adding things.
Yep.
I'd love them to be just a Tech 10 battleship that's made just like any other Tech 10 battleship. That'd be my idea. Like, because they're not designed to be something ridiculous and OP, right? They're just useful and very good, not OP. I don't think they're Navy issue levels of OP.
Right, but I mean, if you can bypass a jammer, then they better be expensive and taken care of, right? As your counter to that.
Or at least, I mean, if you look at the CovOps cruisers versus just even a regular cruiser, I mean, they're absolute glass, right?
Yeah.
So, and even if that's the balance point where your Black Ops are a little less tanky, obviously, and then they're than a regular T10 battleship, I think that's a fair balance as well, because if people aren't ready to flash form and defend their home, they were going to lose something expensive anyway.
Yeah.
A Black Ops Rome that just pops up out of, air quotes, nowhere, or a couple of nutters in a couple of strikers who just YOLO into their carrier. Because I think we've all seen there's videos, plenty of videos of sometimes even just 2-3 strikers just absolutely wiping the floor with a carrier. So like,
oh yeah, with the carrier, yeah. You bet.
I think that's going to be the prime target of groups with Black Ops. Like, you're going to be going carrier hunting because you can get your fleet in and out theoretically a lot safer than if you were having to go every gate in and every gate out.
And if they've got sinos on them that get around jammers, then yeah, drop some supers with them too. Why not?
For sure.
Because you'll just be able to wipe the
Oh,
rolls
no,
off the grid. You'll be able to wipe whatever's ratting off the grid.
Oh, the only ships that can take a Covops Sino are ships equipped with a Covops cloak.
So just themselves.
Oh, so you can take Black Ops battleships themselves, Covops cruisers. Theoretically, that would also mean you can take Asteros Stratios, T10 haulers fitted with a cloak.
Oh, the Chameleon.
And like Imicus Covops and the Explorers.
Okay, so that makes a little bit more sense to me now.
Bombers as well.
Magnate Covop. Yeah, and bombers, yeah. Boy, that brings a whole new meaning to Blink Fleet, doesn't it?
Oh, for sure. And the reason I bring up the blockade runners, the T10 haulers, is, I mean, if you are going cap hunting,
yeah,
you kill the cap, then you sino in your hauler.
That's an amazing thought. I hadn't thought about that. I didn't realize that the other coverts could sino in like that, take a jump. Man, I wonder if they'll do that.
I believe the Black Ops battleship has to bridge through that. I'm not 100% how it works.
Yeah.
But I'm very excited.
That'd be crazy. That'd be absolutely freaking crazy. Yeah, I don't know what the ranges are, but I bet you they'll be like 5 light years like a cap is. Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see it be a larger range.
I mean, supers have a larger range. They're closer to 7. I'm going to get some jump freighter pilots that have theirs up to 11. It's freaking insane. I think the one guy's over 11, like 11.2 or something. Yeah, I mean, I think the ranges. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think the ranges on the caps themselves are just a tad bit short. Just a tad bit short. When you hit that 4.9, which is actually 4.89, then that's all the better you can get. You can barely get to 5 really when you go 5.55. That feels a bit short to me. I feel like 6 would be closer to where that top end should be, but oh well, we'll see. All good.
5 just seems like an awkward spot. 4.9 is a little bit of an awkward spot.
Yeah,
but it's one of those. I don't know if it's like, I think if you made it too much more, they start becoming a little more broken. Too much less, and you might as well just gate jump them.
Yeah. Maybe that's why they picked that. When you look at the ranges between NPCs, there's some areas you can go NPC to NPC and other areas you can't. So until you use, something with a little bit longer range. But okay. So with all of that said, BLOPS, Black Ops battleships, however you want to call them, whatever they wind up being, those things are coming this year. That is not something that we have to wait too long on. And Titans are still scheduled to be coming this year as well. So even though we've had an amazing run on changes in just the last month or two, really 3 months, we're going to wind up getting even more. So I don't know. If I were you, I would start stocking up on R and Plex. Like, just plan for the market to go dry at some point. So, because it's going to.
For sure. If there's another event, like when they release the Navy issue battleships and the special faction cruisers and then the Navy issue frigates, if you can buy the boxes or there's some sort of lottery, like they could bring the Cyan Sea boxes back again.
I hope not. Can we just stop with giving those things away? I mean,
they're already ridiculous. With 554 targeting in sensor mode, the Cyan Sea has the locking speed of a frigate.
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, the ship's fine, but make the ship hard to come by. I mean, it's so easy to come by. 30 billion. I mean, holy shit! It's cheaper than a fax. It's cheaper than a VAC. We'll talk about the VACs, by the way, vertical assault carriers, because that's a whole that's a whole nother ball of wax once we get into the patch notes. Here's another update that came from CCP Games, if you're interested. I don't know. I look at this as a good sign for Eve Echoes as well. If it's done well enough, and they feel like it's doing well enough, and they're making money in a mobile market with this game, then it makes sense to me they would release yet another version with a little bit different take on it, like the traditional 4x strategy game. This is just a regular 4x strategy game. This is not a this is not an MMO. It looks kind of quirky with how they did the screens. When you look at some of the clips from this, it's a little odd. It almost looks like some of the graphics that were being pushed around in advertising from NetEase before Echoes was launched. If you remember those crazy ass, free to play, I know. It's going to have the most gotcha stuff ever on it. But even more so than Echoes does, I bet. But with that said, it really does have some graphics on it from these screenshots they've given out of it so far that look like remember we saw the video of like the Noctis flying inside of like the valley of an asteroid and picking up coins. It has that look and feel.
Yep. The
exactly.
clips they showed from it looked very much like most any generic base builder mobile game, just with Eve skins. To me, I'm rather interested to give it a go when it releases.
Yeah.
But bit of bated breath, if I'm completely honest.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm sure I'll look at it and check it out because anything Eve is fascinating to me. But yeah, Clash of Clans in space is pretty much what it is. And that's about how far my interest will go. Is that I don't have the clip here. If somebody has the clip from the first-person shooter they put out, for some reason I don't have it. I thought I put it in my show notes, but I don't. It looks really, really good, guys. It looks really, really good. And it does have some, I don't know, it felt like Dust really all over again, although they've got some, it's tied directly into EVE Online, just like Dust was, or supposed to be. And it's got war clone. Is that what they're called? War clones? Just like in Dust?
They're war clones that are known as Vanguard.
Vanguard, right. So that's supposed to come out in November. So about a month. November, December timeframe. So I don't know how many people, I know got a few people in my corp that used to play that way back when. I don't know what the requirements on the gaming console will be for that, or how that's going to be played, or who's going to do what with it. But I don't know. That'll be fascinating when that comes out to see. I don't know. Is that something people want still nowadays with EVE Online? Is first-person shooter?
I believe people have been pestering them to bring back Dust for years. So
I'm sure. I'm sure they have. I don't know if it's enough. We'll see. It's a big market. There's a lot of things in the gaming market that's vying for everybody's attention. So we'll see. I never stopped asking about Dusk for 10 years. If it's something that we can all play together, then sure, maybe I'll play it. I don't know. I'm not the biggest on first-person shooters. That's not always been like my forte, my go-to. But we'll see. All right. Anything else we need to cover?
2 new implants, or is that something you want to cover later on?
That's in the balance patch, deep dive stuff. Yeah, we're going to hit the commercials here in a minute, then we'll go to the balance patch where we've got the implants, all the changes that were made. We'll kind of do a deep dive into that. But we'll go into commercials first then. Let's see what commercials we've got to play, because I've just got... I'm going to play one of these first. This is fun. We'll have a little bit of a delay.
Eve Echoes presents Real Pilots of New Eden.
Real pilots of New Eden.
Today we salute you, Mr. Propaganda Reddit poster.
Mr. Propaganda Reddit poster.
You know the best way to make your side look good is to make the other side look dumb.
I love them salty tears.
Battles do not decide the fate of the war. Stats are what truly matters when they're in your favor.
We're winning this war.
You argue your points with well thought out posts and logic. And when that fails, you call them names.
I know you are qualified.
The entire community downvotes you and gives proof on how you're wrong. You just hit them back with a wall of text so long that the conflict is over by the time they finish reading it. So crack open an ice-cold can of quaif, oh commander of the keyboard, because someone has to feed the salty trolls to win this war.
Mr. Propaganda Red Poster.
I love these. We got to make some more of them. And no, Slippy, we did not get one made on the Snoopy Diplo, which is a miss, and we've got to find that one, or get that one made. And I've got to scroll around and find the next one. Dang it, where is it? It's I don't have these set up the way that Rambo does, so. Oh, sure.
My favorite ones were still the ones Rep made for No.
Those are pretty good. I like the ones he used to do too, just on YouTube, where they were where he would just go through like in a hauler and make fun of the haulers, and I think the one about the hauler one was my favorite one. Here's the next.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a trader. To me, being a trader was better than being executor of an alliance. Even before I went to the Discord for a side hustle contract, I knew I wanted to be a part of them. It was there that I knew I belonged. To me, it meant being somebody in a galaxy full of nobodies. They weren't like anybody else. They sold whatever they wanted. They sat in stations and never got a complaint. When they make contracts all night, nobody ever reports them. This is why I do my trading at the New Eden Black Market. You can sell or trade anything, like materials, ship debris, modules, entire ships, rigs, implants, capitals, structures, blueprints, skill chips, have items auctioned, gift code items, buy intel, and some other things I can't even mention. You can hire mercs, hire an FC, or even get carried in Dormant Realm for a small cost. You can put bounties on players or structures, as well as claim bounties. VIP members get special discounts too. Join today and mention that Rambo is better than Taylor for VIP access. You too can become a trader. Join New Eden Black Market Discord today. Ask Rambo for the link.
Ah, yes, very good. The Black Market, and I'll put up the link here as we're going. What were you about ready to say before I cut you off, man? Sorry.
I was to say, Rep and I filmed some footage for a mining video during the No Burr versus Void War, where we just took a pair of coveters all the way into one of their dead-end back pockets, like the one of their main ones. Mined a full load and got killed on the way out.
That's awesome. That's a lot of fun. I wish I had more time to do, the funny fuck around kind of fleets like that. I just don't seem to have time for much of anything like that anymore. It is what it is. All right. Now the moment that some of us have never been waiting for. We're going to get into this gigantic balance patch, balance buff, all the things that kind of go along with it. There's a lot here. If you've caught up with some of it, obviously you've read it. If you're listening to the show right now, you're in the live audience, you've probably read it. Or you've gone over to Damon Zell's YouTube channel and listened to him drone on, reading it verbatim for 45 minutes and giving you nothing about it other than him reading it. We are not going to do that. So instead, what I'm going to do, and Latorra, I didn't even tell you any of this because obviously we didn't know you were going to be coming on, but you'll just give your opinion on these things too whenever you want, okay? So,
Sure.
First thing is the asteroid detection array that was put into the game. If you don't know how that works, or you don't know how that's built, guess what? It takes minerals and PI and gas from Cobalt Edge. So Everything new coming out is probably going to be using something from Cobalt Edge. This thing does. It does. It actually, they put out two things in terms of this asteroid detection array. Number one, it's a structure that you anchor. So it does take up points, 10 anchor points per level, 3 levels, just like most other structures. And it levels up the belts in your system much the same way that the base anomaly detection structure does with leveling up your anoms, right? So with anomalies, you've been able to go from a T8 to a T9 and then a T9 to a T10, and that's all you could do. With this thing, it looks like you can do the same thing. T8s now can become T9 belts or T10 belts. I don't know for sure because I haven't anchored one yet, and there's nothing on the Fulmination server, but it looks to me from the stats that it's only 2 levels. So you're just going to go take a T8 now and make it a T10 belt.
It's, I guess, good for anyone who's mass building caps, right? That's about the only thing I think that's useful for.
Well, I think it's good for a lot of things. It'll increase the spawn rate of belts. It'll make more belts in your system. And there are times when we really go at it where we clean the whole system. They don't spawn fast enough. So that's good. But also, there are certain areas in the game, we kind of forget about this sometimes, but like, say, Providence, for instance, they don't have any T9 or T10 belts at all in all of Providence. Their highest tier is T8. I don't know if anybody realized that or not. So this entire time, they don't have T10 belts.
I think they can get their, whatever the red stuff is. I'm not an indie guy, please.
It's more
don't
fight.
come at me.
Yeah.
That's the one, the red one. But you can get it from the capital quarries.
True. They have had that resource for a while. Yeah, Mercoxic is the ore, Morphite's the refined mineral out of the ore. They haven't been able to get that for a while, and up until recently, they probably just been buying it because that's what we were doing when I was there way back in the day when I needed it.
Because it wasn't worth a great deal because everyone had stockpiles.
It is now.
Stockpiles of the stuff, right?
Yeah, Morphite is definitely worth something now. So
wait, should I be flying a Venture 4 into like enemy space to steal the Mercoxic from their belts for profit?
No, there's probably not enough of. There's probably too much of that in null space for the null space groups to really care or notice that. But what you can do is go steal the C70 in Cobalt Edge. That's very profitable. C70 gas is still remaining somewhere around 9,000-10,000 per unit. So, no. Well, okay, so the security level, yes, Nala, -0.8 to -1, but it doesn't exist in Provi until now. There's other areas too. There's lots of areas where you'd look on the map and think, why would anybody ever anchor there? Because the belts suck or the anoms suck, right? And you had a way to at least boost the anoms up somewhat. A T6 can now be a T8. Well, now you can at least get T8 belts with it. So it makes some of those areas like Pure Blind, even some areas that are down in Wicked Creek area, Detroit, that maybe are a little bit more attractive for people to want to anchor in now where they weren't really that attractive to anchor in before. Smaller corps, smaller groups may be more attractive. Oh, is it all the way down to 3K? Holy shit, I overpaid for that this morning then. I paid 5K for 500,000 of it, Muffin. That's fucking trog. Anyway, that's not that much, I guess. 2,000 a piece, not that big of a deal. But anyway, I don't know. I think it's a good thing. And then they also put out a tech thing in the tech tree that allows you to level that up. Its effectiveness gets leveled up. I don't know by the verbiage if that really means even more belts or if that means even faster spawn rates or just more higher quality belts. All of that will be determined once we actually have some of these things anchored around. We can get people's feedback on them. And none of this is on the Fulmination server for us to check on the content creator side, unfortunately. So, otherwise I would already know. All right.
The only rocks I ever knew anything about was intermescent belts when I was in Void.
Yep. All right, we do have 2 implants. And I got to say, both implants at first glance are a little underwhelming. The artillery implant, I think, would be really good for like a Naglfar. And the aerospace tactics looks like it's really good for drones, but not fighters. What's your take on that?
Overall, like they seem like they're very much passive sort of implants, right? Like they're giving passive buffs as well as a DPS increase, I believe. So I think the artillery cover is almost good for autocannons all round.
Mm.
The tracking buff will be good for large and capital weapons in particular.
I don't get the level 45 salvo, though. Did you read what the level 45 salvo is?
Yeah, it turns misses into partial hits.
Launches a saturation really strike on the enemy shortly after activation, deals light damage to targets in range even if it misses, has no effect if it hits the enemy successfully. It's an area effect weapon that doesn't allow you to hit. What? You really want to spend on compilers from 30 to 45 for that? Does that really make... that doesn't make sense to me. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not a cannon guy.
The way I interpret that is, if it hits, it means the implant doesn't add more damage. It just does the base damage that it was going to deal, right?
Yeah, that's a fair point.
So it's basically your hits still hit and do that damage, but your misses now also hit.
And do an area effect. Yeah, I guess that would be good for wiping out drones, Lofty. Everything in range, whatever that area, that splash damage range is. Huh. Yeah, kind of like a fold.
The way I always...
Go ahead.
The way I always interpret implants is the implant good at 15? Is it good at 30? 45? Like, that's a corp effort almost to build up. That's the way I see it and the way we operate in my corp. But is it good at 15? Sure, range. Yeah, that's always good, right? And then the level 30 ability, I think it's worth it. I mean, moving your damage types around, which means you can get up to some shenanigans.
Yeah, increases thermal damage, yeah.
And explosive, or explosive, I believe. So thermal, good against shields. Explosive, good against armor. It's a good all-round option.
Right. Yeah, I guess same thing on the aerospace tactics. You've got close combat technique or mighty arsenal. The close combat is just is exactly that. Increases drones' turret tracking and rocket missile explosion velocity. Reduces their signature radius, kind of thing. So harder to hit drones, closer in, better tracking. And then on the mighty arsenal, it's more damage and defense is reduced. Actually, more defense and more damage, but their flight velocity is reduced, which I don't know if you care about flight velocity anymore if you've got the efficiency GU, because you're always on with your speed now.
With our navigation computer,
yeah, you can have that thing always. You can have that thing always up with the efficiency GU for the for the fighters anyway. Doesn't work on drones, does it? It should. I thought it did.
There's a drone navigation computer. People just don't use it.
Yeah.
Because to be honest, most of the time, even your medium drones are fast enough for what most people need.
Yeah.
I'd say more damage, better defense. I'd say that's better almost on fighters, right? Because I think 9 times out of 10, DPS is high enough if you're going after a drone boat that you don't need to defang it these days. Whereas a carrier, you want to defang sometimes, depending on what you're taking against them.
Pretty hard to defang heavy fighters, though. On the supers. That's pretty hard to do.
Oh, on the supers, my strategy for dealing with supers is if someone's undocked and coming my way, we log off.
That's pretty smart.
I'm not kidding. I think I told you, I showed you that kill mail from today. We got a boop carrier, They literally logged in a super, warped it to a gate. My scout dicta saw it, and we went, "Okay, safe log."
Yeah.
Not even gonna try.
Yeah. Well, any small group of battleships are going to die pretty damn fast to a super. I mean, that's just...
Yeah, we were 6 strikers. We weren't going to tank a super for long enough to live,
No.
let alone
No.
kill it.
Nope. All right, well, I guess we'll see what the uptake on both of those implants are. They look good, I suppose, maybe better than I thought at first glance. On paper, I'm still sticking with Bombard and actually Pulse for my Succubus pilot, because instead of the other way around, which was Focus Crystal, because I get a higher damage right off the bat, just boom, just instantly.
Yeah.
So it's much better for those small engagements with the Succubus or the Executioner Inti than it is for anything
all
else.
around. Yeah, all around, I think Pulse Crystal is highly underrated as a PvP implant. But I also think it's more people go, I've already got a high-level Focus Crystal for running Abyss, so why would I bother getting a high-level Pulse Crystal, right?
Right. There's so much PvE content in this game nowadays. You know what? There really is so much. It's no wonder when you're flying around in space and you can't find people to kill. It's not because there's nobody playing the game. It's because there's just this ton of PvE content that literally takes you out of the space where you could kill them, whether it's a DR, high-sec AI ratting, which I love to hate and shit on all the time, even though I don't do it, but whatever, you do it, it's fine. It's you play the game however you want to play the game. I don't actually care, but I'm going to shit on it anyway because I hate it. I wish they never put that out there.
Once again, insulting my play style, Taylor.
I am.
God.
I'm just going to beat you up all night. So
I don't have Sov. I can't go ratting in a T10 system fully upgraded.
Yeah. And I say all this, and Sarah is here in comms listening and in chat, and I mean, I rely on what he picks up in loot that I buy from him all the time from his AI ratting and his Science Sea fleet. So
I'm sure I've seen. Yeah. Oh, I see Sarah in local. Hang on, I'll wave to you in local, Sarah.
100 to 150 plus labs a day. Good Lord. See, I can't do that. I can't do that. Maybe I could if it was all AI and I wasn't even paying attention or was asleep. I mean, I don't know. One of these days I'll probably try that, but I just haven't brought myself to it yet. So that's just a huge fucking number. So anyway. All right, so we'll see how that goes. One of the things they introduced this week that I thought was amazing, hilarious, something that people asked for years now, and now that it's here, no one will use, and that's skills for structure weapons. Who is going and sinking in SP for longer range, heavier hitting missiles on their paws? Please tell me. Please tell me.
I actually think there'll be people who will skill it.
I'm sure they
I don't know
will.
if those skills are going to be useful.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, the world's full of idiots, and they're here in this game too. I mean,
Was it last week you discussed someone who was asking if they could get fighter bays on their pass?
yeah, exactly. Exactly. But I think it's look, even though I shit on it and think it's funny, I think it's great that they added that for people who want that. That's fine. If you think that's going to save you, if you want to have that tune in the pause to be able to defend it when you get that notification that your shields are down, and you can clone over there, or maybe that guy, that's all he does is farm PI for you. Now you're a little bit more defensible, right? If you think you are, anyway. I don't think you are. I don't think it helps you at all. Unless it's one errant bomber, which, by the way, can get out of your range anyway, even with these skills. Sorry, but
I mean,
we'll find ways.
The only real way to defend a POS is to not let them get to the grid, right?
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, if they get to grid, that POS is dead. Unless you're guarding it with super or a load of carriers, and it's like you say, like 1 or 2 guys. Like,
yeah, so I mean,
I've taken POSes out with a single Naga 2.
Yeah.
Versus 5-6 people.
Yeah. Yep. there's so many ways to take a structure like that out solo. There's just lots of ways to do that. So there's plenty of ways to defend it too. You just have to be ready for it. So they're really goofy though, Gojira. You're right. The weapons themselves all over they're goofy. It's just you got a web that doesn't go long enough. You've got
I believe it's now 50 kilometers.
Yeah, it always was 50.
It's 40, I believe.
Oh, it went from 40 to 50. Okay. I guess that's an improvement, but not much.
I'm trying to find the section we talked about.
Yeah, I didn't pull up the skills.
I'm trying to be a professional tailor, so if I fail massively, it just makes you look amazing. So
I'll take whatever I can get because I just wing this every night.
Yeah, here we go. So obviously the missile, small missile, medium missile, large missile for the stand-up stuff have all been buffed. A really good amount, and then stasis web raised from 40 to 50 kilometers.
All the missiles had ranges of somewhere like 100 to 110, I thought, but they take forever to lock. So when you're in a bomber, even if you're within their range, you'd never hit me. You just never hit me.
And the thing is, if you're moving 1 meter per second, like you're already moving faster than the missile can apply.
Yeah, and not only that, if I put a sensor damp on you now, you're going to take like, what, 280 seconds to lock me? You think I can't cloak in that time?
I don't think you put EWAR on a POS.
Still can't put the sensor damp on, can you? Okay. I wasn't sure. I hadn't tried that yet because I didn't need to, but I was thinking about that. If that worked, that'd be amazing. Obviously, you can't target painter. That pissed me off. I remember that the very first time I ever tried to target paint a sit, and I couldn't do it. So, oh well.
You needed it to be bigger? How bad were your skills, Taylor?
No. I just wanted to. Maybe at that time my skills probably were bad. I did start this game as an indie pilot. So all I was doing was
I'm sorry
building ships and hauling shit. And to this day, I'm still hauling shit. I don't know. I even have a jump freighter tune. It's crazy. When you're the CEO, you're also the janitor. Okay. All right, so that was a funny thing that they did too. Super carriers can now have AI cores, although there's no cores currently on the market to buy. So just the waifu ones you can turn gold and then get rid of all the graphics that you got when you bought it because that's why you wanted the waifu core? Like, what the hell?
To be honest, doesn't Trog own like 90% of those nanocores anyway?
Maybe.
Gonna be do they need to rename themselves into like the Weeaboo Corp?
Ooh-oos. They probably do own more of those than anybody else outside of Saku. Yeah. They are a bunch of whales, Muffin. You're right. They are a bunch of whales.
AI core for the Super. I mean, it was expected, right? But
sad.
It's not going to be attainable for a lot of people.
No, you can't fly a Super into high sec, can you? Pretty sure you can't. So, where are you going to AI rat in that? In null? So you're going to use a Super to take out small anoms automatically?
I know people that AI rat in nullsec in faction battleships. I won't name any names.
I
just
do
in
too.
Case they're listening.
Yeah, I do too. Yes, let them rat and null. That's right. I just find that fascinating. And I think someone speculated the number of those Tesseract things you'd have to have is going to have to be in the well into the multiple hundreds. Or did somebody already tell me 1,400? Yeah, 1,000, over 1,000. Yep. Somebody did tell me there was a huge freaking amount. So 1,400.
I just got a DM about that comment as well, Taylor. Sorry. I just said I know people who rat in AI nanos in nullsec, and I get a DM saying, "I am. It's up right now."
That's hilarious. All right, another thing they added to the
Here to
game.
get all my friends killed.
Yeah, exactly. Blue on blue is best. Another thing they added to the game that I've been personally waiting on, I know Rambo's been personally waiting on this as well since April. This was hinted at coming into the game. Well, not hinted, but we were literally told, both of us by Carrie, that this was coming in the game in April, followed by in May. May was supposed to be ship month, and we were supposed to get containers and ship naming. We didn't get that, but lo and behold, here we are all the way out in September. We got something we were supposed to get in April, so maybe next month we'll get containers. I don't know. This month we got Corporation Tech Personnel Expansion. This allows you to expand the number of people in your corp. This is something I have needed for a very long time. We are full, kind of full, sort of full. There's alts that we can move, but we're into the point now where every single one of our pilots in corp is active, whether it's an alt or not, every day almost, or at least every other day. So I've leveled this up a little bit so we can kind of increase that. We're up to 212. It's painful. It's very expensive to level this thing up, and you're only going to get to 70. So you're going to go from 200 to 270, and you're going to spend billions and billions of ISK to do it. I've already spent billions of ISK just to get to 12. It's disgusting. It's lame. It's really freaking stupid. It should have been to 400. I'm fine spending billions in Corp Tech Tree for things if I feel like I'm getting a good value out of it. This, not so much. This is pretty dumb. This is pretty sad. We're probably only going to go to like the 230. I think that's where we'll get to by the end of this week. 2 more levels, I believe, is what that is to get us up to 230. And then I'm going to stop until we absolutely fucking have to have it. It's just too much money. It's too much money. And the corp points.
I was going to say, Taylor, like, I'm coming from a corp that is literally 25 guys.
Yeah.
50 characters. Sounds like a Care Bear problem to me.
A little bit. You're not wrong. I mean, we were called Care Bears with guns. There's 3 corps now, all in one, that all came from Care Bears. So there's where our problem is. We've still got alts over in multiple alt corps as well. A lot. So.
Sorry, Slippy's telling I have 25 guys in my corp. Look at this big friend haver. That's just. No, I definitely see the appeal to being able to have more people in your corp. Like it's very much useful, especially when. I mean, Solve really relies on you having.
Yeah.
People in the same corp, right?
Well, it's economies of scale, right? Whether it's anything you put down for your structures, whether it's the bounty structures, the tax structures, the stuff we talked about earlier with the asteroid belts, all of those things. And really what it comes down to is, for me anyway, I mean, the main reason why I'd want to get up to 400, which is what I thought we would hit, is our ability not only to bring on some more folks, but to get all of our alts into the same corp as well. Would be freaking amazing, and that's what we need. We literally do need 400 in order to get everybody that wants to be in there all in one corp at one time. And the benefit you get from that isn't just the ratting structures or anything else, but it is a weird number, Cleo. I have no idea why 70, but anyway, maybe they'll change that. Who knows? We can petition the shit out of them. We'll see. But the main reason is because of the corp market. Right? Think of how that really changed things for a corporation. For those corporations that are really using it, whether it's for your buybacks, whether it's for trading items between one another, about the only thing missing from that is for a member to just be able to put up, like on a trade channel separate from the corp channel, where they can just put up their own items for sale and somebody else in the corp can just go pick them up and either pay points or ISK or whatever. It really is a game changer.
You don't practice communism, Rick?
No, we're very much capitalists. We are very much capitalists. Everybody makes money on everything. I pay people for doing hauling. I pay people for doing all their buybacks and minerals and ores, PI. I buy as much as we can. We turn around and turn it into ships for profit as much as we can. No, it's not a communist. It's not a communist thing at all. Very much capitalists. I'm a very big believer that our corporation is strong when our pilots are rich. So exactly, Slippy.
Like,
Exactly, Slippy.
We basically formed our corp on the attitude of come PvP with us and be poor.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's the thing I do differently as well. And I guess there's plenty of people who do it the way that I do it. I'm not unique, I guess, but I do play every aspect of the game, and the pilots that are in Corp, for the most part, do every aspect of the game, except for Gojira there, who all he wants to do is PvP now. That's all he cares, which is great. We need those kinds of guys as well. But for the most part, a lot of the people in my Corp are doing a little bit of everything, you know? Whether that's mining and that's indie and that's PvE or that's PvP or whatever it is. It's always a little bit of everything. And I think if you're in the game doing different stuff, then it stays fresh for you a little longer instead of just being stale.
Oh, for sure.
Not that I don't like the PvP side of it. I do love obviously I do. I FC and I do all that. But I guess that's where the drawback for me comes into is I just don't have time to do all the things that I wish I could do, which means that sometimes I don't get to do anything. So
It's spoiled for choice, Taylor. I just know where I'm getting paid for kills, and that's where I go.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's get into all the actual balance updates. We spent quite a bit of time on this and haven't even gotten into the actual updates, balance patch side of it. These are just some of the new things they've added. Hey, Rambo would be proud. We're already an hour and a half in. So let's look at the first couple of things. They did all kinds of changes to the implants, barrage, sniping, automatic, support projection, in-flight disruption warheads got changed, tactical missiles, pulse crystals, remote shields, remote armors. All of this stuff either got some sort of a buff to its damage or got some sort of a buff to its defense. And really, overall, the biggest thing out of this entire patch is on the defensive side, more so than on the offensive side. I mean, you even go down and look at jump freighters now have an extra slot. They didn't have any slots.
Yeah,
to
an
begin
extra
with.
low slot.
Yeah, they had no slots.
Extra low slot.
Yeah.
That they can't fit a cloak in that one low slot.
Well, not only can you not fit a cloak, but their power grade is such shit that you can't fit a micro warp drive either. So you can't even use it with the micro warp drive trick. About the only thing that goes there that makes any sense is a stab, eye stab.
Yeah, an eye stab. Yeah.
Even a hardener, which is nice, doesn't really do anything for you. It's the eye stab, right? So to move around, which is kind of funny to think about putting on a jump freighter when you're just jumping from point to point. But there are times you've got a gate and you got to move. So I find that somewhat helpful. It's interesting. I wish those things had full low slots, but that's okay. So when we're talking about defensive things, I'm talking about things like the Cyan C got an estimated hit point buff. Fax got an extra low slot. All faxes got an extra low slot. Minakawa got extra EHP. Same thing with the Lift and the Apostle and the Nanazoo. All the carriers got added EHP. Even the Archon got an extra added bonus for its fighter range, which was the only one that had fighter range to begin with. So that's kind of an interesting thing.
I think that makes the Archon kind of nasty in a couple of ways. I think it's one of the few carriers that can actually be set up in such a way that you're not able to defang it.
It does make that a little harder because you get added things you can do on top of that 10% fighter range bonus, because it was 7.5, now it's 10. But you could increase that even still, more so with implants. So you're right. Those are hitting you outside of web range, generally speaking. If you can keep those things at full speed, those are going to be very difficult to kill the fighters on those. The biggest thing with all of these, though, biggest thing on the capital side, I guess I'll say, even non-capital's got an extra low slot like an Orca. That was kind of funny. Is the VACs, the vertical assault carriers. All the VACs got some major updates with this. I'm trying to scroll down and find them. Lightweight fighters got bonuses.
They lost network sensor mode, but they've now just got the scan rares into their base hull stat. So
yep,
that's nasty.
That is very nasty.
They got web resistance. But I'm wondering if that's only the villain. To check them all on the ship tree.
Why does this list I have not even show? I'm trying to scroll to them now. I'm just going through the whole thing.
They got base warp stab +3, so they can now escape a single long point if you don't rig for it.
Yep.
Increased shield extender and armor plate bonus from 5% to 10%, and removed the capacitor consumption bonus. Extenders and plates much more useful, I guess, on them. Then extra mid slot, which, when you look at things like the Astarte, might be a little bit more disgusting.
Yeah.
Because obviously the Blood Raider bonus.
And everything got damage increases. Weapon stability increases, damage increases, and optimal ranges increased as well. Some of them well with outside of web range. So like the light Corsair, the lightweight Corsair is now 18 kilometers for its optimal range and gets a +5 on its damage. So the lightweight fighters getting all these damage buffs and the Catalyst getting a damage buff of +15. I don't know. I feel like the VACs are finally worth their expense. I'll put it that way. I was never going to get into VACs.
I think it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Not sure if I want. If I was to get one, I'd be torn between the Astarte and the villain, and I'm not sure if I'd get one because I'm gonna lose it in a fiery explosion somewhere.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, 6 months ago, 7 months ago, I would have looked at a VAC and treated it like I would treat a super now. Now I look at it and I'm thinking, I really just want to build I just want to go into this mode where all I'm doing is building Visagos over and over again because I know I'm just going to go out and fucking yeet one. You know what I mean? Like, and don't even worry about it. Just make a freaking another one, and not even worry about the rig, the special rig to get you extra, extra fighter bay. Just go for it, and just use it as everything. They're so fast. The Visago is 1,200 meters a second. Did you know that?
Oh God.
Yeah.
I think you can get a Nidhogger up to about 1,100. It's faster than a Nid.
You can get a Nidhogger up to 1,100? No way.
Expensive, but it's viable.
What is that? Well, I'm gonna have to go back and look at that. I had no
Might
idea.
be slower now because that was a very early number,
Mm.
and I think we've had balance patches which have slowed a lot of things down. So I might be incorrect now.
Yeah, I'll have to go back. You got me thinking about it. I'll have to go back and look at it now. If they can go that fast, then that's interesting.
Though I think one of the bigger ones of this balance patch, which I find the most intriguing, is subcaps. The fact that the Serpentis got this now new unique bonus. What do you think about that?
Let me go in and look at it now. Yeah, so I mean, medium ships, all the large ships got. They made changes to the Praxis and the Praxis 2. That's hilarious. They spent time on that. That's funny.
The bonus I'm talking about, Taylor, is the 25% web resistance bonus on all the Serpentis hulls.
Ah, you're right.
It's
I'm looking
makes
at
things like Daredevil, Adastria, and Vigilant, in my opinion,
Yep.
rather nasty.
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now. I guess I missed that. All I saw was the damage bonus going up 0.5%, and I was like, who cares? Yeah. And their shield recharge time's reduced. Huh. That does make that kind of interesting. And the Salios
We've got a
gets
few
longer web
guys-
range.
Salio's got more web range. Wait, did I miss that?
Yeah, Salios increased its stasis weapon fire effective range from 5 to 7.5.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot here. Shield Guardian Battle Cruiser.
extra high slot.
Yeah. Trying to make the Feroxes come back
It's a
again.
The thing is, even with that extra high slot, like I'm not entirely sure the reasoning behind that, because 10 times out of 10, aren't we all fitting like missiles to our Guardians because
Yeah. Pretty much.
no cap?
Yep.
I would say though, I think this update as well has made the Adestria insane.
Yeah. I wanted the Fiend
think it
to be good. I wanted the Fiend to be so good, and it just and it is. Don't get me wrong; it's a good ship, but it's just so damn expensive.
Yeah, I mean it's in defense mode with a large afterburner. You can cap stably fly it at like 2,000 meters per second. I think it's insanity.
That's so slow. No, I'm sure I can get it faster than that because my
I'm
Phoenix.
talking in defense mode, which slows it down.
Yeah. That's right. I was gonna say because my all I cared about when it first came out was I was looking at my Phantasm that was going 7,200 meters a second, and I was thinking, good God, can I get my Fiend to go that fast with a Hick bubble up? And you can't. So it just pissed me off. So oh well.
I don't know. I think Hictors, if you can get them over 5k, I think that's going to start being disgusting.
Yeah. In fact, I know you can get a Moa Hick up that fast. They're
Yeah, I mean
pretty
the
close
rupture
anyway.
on a medium, rupture on a medium micro warp drive can hit 4k.
Yeah, and a rupture's cheap, so
Yeah,
it's okay if you can lose a couple of ruptures in a fight. That's fine. Definitely throw them in there. We got all kinds of damage buffs on all turrets, rails, snubs, cannons, even barrels. We didn't get anything added into the tracking on any of them other than maybe a little bit of accuracy fall off. I know a lot of people are still going back and looking at capital turrets and those barrel weapons, and they're really not as effective as what you'd want them to be against smaller ships. But I feel like they shouldn't be. I feel like that's a decent balance. If a barrel weapon nag, for instance, could just wipe out every cruiser and frigate around it constantly and never get tackled, like that wouldn't really be very fun, would it?
Oh, the barreled weapons were a little underwhelming. The one time I did just straight up YOLO my nag, I basically spent the whole fight going, I hope CRB don't pod nearby, and I wish I was fit with autocannons, not barreled.
Yep.
The barreled are nice if you're right in on top of someone, but the range is still like 15 kilometers with a fall off of 40.
Yeah.
If you're fighting in your fall off, you might as well be in a battleship.
Yeah. It's still pretty tight. All right. Anything else major on this balance patch that we need to hit? I feel like the major stuff we've kind of gone over. I mean, you could sit there and I don't want to read the whole thing like other people have done. Everybody else has read it. Fighters got agility buffs, some damage increases on the assault, offensive, and integrated ones, which is interesting because they were already huge damage. The difference in damage between a regular fighter and an offensive or integrated fighter is huge. Now they're even higher.
One that interests me because I'm an armor fanatic is the armor link changes, where every single size armor link got, I think, 10 kilometers added to its effective range. So larges now cover 50 kilometers.
Which is great.
40.
Please, people, keep using armor. That's great because it's shields all the way, man.
Ooh, I don't know, man. Like we've had some absolutely insane fights with our Hyperions and our Abaddons.
Oh yeah, no small gang stuff. Armor is tough. I've come across small gang groups that are running armor and I'm running shields, and good God, it felt like I was hitting brick walls. I couldn't break anybody. That's tough.
I wonder if you fought our Hyperions then, Taylor, because we were my group was deployed to Fade at the start of the Silent War. If you fought against a stack of Hyperions, that was probably my group.
Probably was. Maybe one of those times trying to help Red 1 defend their pauses, because I felt like I was doing that every week for a while. So, oh well. There's a bunch of module changes, too, that came into this. The Beaver Industrial Core's drone damage and mining amount bonus increased from 80 to 100. Its shield boost bonus increased from 60 to 75. So that makes...
that probably makes the Orca with a Beaver mod like a little bit harder for like a small thing to grab a hold of, right?
It does. It does make that very difficult for it. You can take more than just your single normal guy coming in through trying to kill it to get it.
I mean, I think it's 5 points of stab at base anyway, so it's hard to hold down anyway.
Yeah, it does. It does. And I didn't even really notice that. I have an Orca on one of my mining guys, and no Beaver though.
I might be thinking of the Rorqual.
No, you're right. The Orca doesn't. I think you're thinking of the Rorqual. The Orca doesn't, and the Orca is a slow mother to just align and warp.
Orca's 3 points.
Yep.
Point space.
Still okay, I suppose. They made some changes in the anomalies.
Still better than the kick in the nuts.
Yeah, and they can still hold their own for a little bit too. But they made some change in the anomalies, both capital cosmic anomalies. We get better spawn rates now between rallies, special fleets, and quarries. We don't get drops of the advanced capital ship component box anymore, the red box. We don't get those in those anymore. Those are only going to come from CTRs at this point, or potentially the purple missions, I think, is where they're going to be at as well. So those will be less frequent. Those items' prices will go up. If you're holding on to any of those red boxes and have keys, good for you. Wait another month. Those values will probably go up. One of the rare times we see that happen instead of things going down, because it just won't be quite as all over the place anymore. They got rid of all the Mark 9 loot for the high-sec mission runners, which I think is great. I think it's great.
I was when I was AI ratting, I had auto salvages on my ships, and I was building a lot of stuff for the Corp that way.
Right. Well, see, that's the thing that I think is great with it. You keep dropping mineral prices down by just having free minerals, basically, is what you're getting. You're getting all that stuff repoed. So.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah. Like, I both find it annoying and also understand. So.
Yeah, no, I get it. I do.
I just go shopping with HTP these days.
Yeah, they're up here now, up in the Penta area. Let's see what else on the capital rifts, capital test grounds. Only 3 instead of 4 waves. Fewer side rooms, although each one of those waves is a little bit more difficult. There's now minnows in the first wave, or at least faxes anyway in the first wave, where there wasn't before. So I don't know. Overall, I think that's probably a good change. Those things sometimes tend to take forever, but they need to get ran. So I don't know. I'm all for kind of speeding those up a little bit, even though the drops will be a little bit less. Just make them more accessible, and that's what they did. They spawn more too, because those CTRs, the capital test ranges, just seem to want to spawn at weird intervals. Sometimes they would, sometimes they wouldn't. So, and they also got rid of some of the amounts of C50 and C60 gas in the asteroid belts, which I have noticed. I don't know how many miners have noticed this, but it is noticeably different. It's not so much taking up your entire cargo hold anymore. I love it. So it was freaking annoying. I got a medal too, Latorra. I got one from Bunker as well. That's cool. So
I jokingly asked him, hey, how many more billions do I need to spend with HTP to get a medal? And he goes, here you go.
Nothing made me sadder that day when the zoo was going to go down, and I wanted to send a fleet out there, and I even tried to coordinate some of that with Durkadur, rip, but it just wasn't meant to be that day, and the zoo went down. That was a sad day. They also gave us
Don't think it's dead.
the zoo. Oh no, it died.
Taken.
One of the HEB guys is typing right now. He can. Zoo still up, just renamed. Renamed, yeah, okay. So, yeah, it's there, but it's renamed. Gotcha. Okay. In my mind, it's dead. If it's renamed, and I mean, it's still the original structure, so I guess that's one thing. It's a ship of thesis at this point. They also gave us 10 million Lazarus units, which was excellent, but maybe not enough anymore. Do you think that's not enough, or is that too much? It seems like they give away Laz all the time, and we've got plenty of guys with alts that have 30 and 40 and 60 million Laz units, but I don't know. For me, I kind of wish I'd gotten just a tad bit more.
The thing is I don't think ever intended for a full respec, right?
Yeah.
I'd say that it's intended to like strip points out for like if you go, oh, this weapon system's not really what I want anymore. I'm gonna pull that and put that 10 mil into a new one. I think realistically, getting enough Lazarus points for a full respec is, I don't think it's viable, and it kind of breaks the whole idea of having to spend time to skill into a system, right?
It does.
I've used the last 20 mil SP Lazarus units they gave me to get my main 554 skilled to dreads. That was 20. I think it was about 25 mil Lazarus units at that point because of Concord Pass, right? I don't think expecting more Lazarus units is viable. It's enough, in my opinion, to respec. Say you go, oh shit, they've completely fucked over large lasers, so I'm going to pull my my SP from large lasers and I'm going to switch to large rails or large cannons, right?
Right.
It's enough to do that, which I think is what the sort of intent is. Whereas, I don't know. I think expecting more from NetEase is it's a losing game, right?
For sure. Yeah, and Muffin, I don't know. I'm okay with the Lazarus. He says in chat, I wish they weren't a thing. I will partially agree with that. I'm okay that they're a thing. I wish they weren't a thing that wasn't tradable. You know, I'm a big proponent that if it's in the game, it should be tradable. It should be sellable. It should be on the market. I don't care what it is, and it should be in your cargo hold. If I want to sell Lazarus units in JITA, and I'm in, and I was awarded them in, I don't know, null space somewhere, doesn't matter where, NPC, whatever, doesn't matter. That should be an item, a physical item that's in the inventory that I have to haul to JITA in order to sell it, or to an NPC, an ITC, in order to be able to sell it, right? So somebody else could get to it, or whatever. You have to move it somewhere, and it has to be in your cargo hold. Therefore, it's possible for you to lose it, and that includes Plex. If I'm in my SOV up in Declan and I buy a whole bunch of Plex, it's not in my wallet somewhere. It's actually sitting as Plex, as a physical item that's in my inventory, and if I want to go sell that in JITA, I got to put it in an Interceptor and take it up there. An Interceptor is perfectly safe in this game. So that's not like if you accidentally put it in your battleship and move around and die, then you're an idiot. But I mean,
we see people do that with nano cores all the time, so it would happen probably more than you'd expect, right?
Exactly. Yes. Skill choices mattered more. Yeah, I mean, I wish that your character that you pick at the beginning of the game had some sort of bonuses towards those things too. But that therefore would make those choices make more sense. And yes, I wish real bombs that they actually hinted at coming into the game 2 months ago were here now as well. But we don't have them.
Proper smart bombs would be nice as well.
Yep.
Get rid of those drone bombs. Just give us smart bombs.
Yeah, they're almost overpowered. I have 2 of them on my nightmare, and anybody who ever tries sending in drones on me when I'm running that thing, good luck. 2 cycles, your drones are gone. So, like, they're not. Your drones aren't going to be very effective. You get a couple of us on grid like that in a fleet, and your drones are gone. So, because the range is enough to where whatever those drones optimal's at, they're still gone. Those drones would have to be hitting at 20 in order for those drone bombs not to affect them. So,
the only drones that get around drone bombs is sentries, and
Sentries.
then you've got a nightmare field. So, who cares?
exactly, exactly. So it doesn't really matter. Okay, well, we're winding down. We're almost at the 2-hour mark, and that's pretty much all the main things I wanted to hit with the balance patch, the big update this week. So we had a lot of stuff there. Anything else you want to cover on it real quick, Latorra, before we wind down?
Oh, I think that pretty much covers it, like the vast majority. Obviously, there's a lot to go through. Like,
Sure.
There's a lot of weapons that have small tweaks, etc. But realistically speaking, I think everyone here can at least read, right? So,
I think what I would want to do to dive into a little bit more, and I haven't talked to Rambo about this, but I think what would be fun to do is to really look at those balances and things, is to say, okay, let's maybe next week or the week after, whatever, just as an example, let's talk about cruisers and cruisers viability now after the balance patch. Which ones, can do what now, why something changed with something else, and why maybe one ship isn't as viable as another one is now. Kind of like we sort of did a little bit when we talked about the Adstria and the Fiend or Chameleons, things like that. I think that'd be kind of fun to do. Same thing with either frigates, or maybe not necessarily frigates, but I mean, someday hopefully we get a balance patch that makes destroyers worth talking about other than just dictors, right? So that'd be kind of fun.
I'd say there's probably a lot of fun to be had with some of the less popular ships. We were talking about in Corp today, assault frigates, like just the T8 assault frigates. I think you could do some absolutely nasty stuff with them.
Mm-hmm.
Just most people fly faction or scepters, right? Or bombers, obviously at the minute, but
Yep. Yeah,
I honestly think
assault.
you could do some nasty things with the assault frigates, and I honestly feel the same way about the assault destroyers.
Yeah, I'd love to put together, and it's too bad the special frigates like the Punisher Navy Assault or whatever it is, the Navy issue. That's a fun, strong little ship. So expensive to replace.
And I just buy a new one.
Yeah.
250 mil. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. For a while, right? Until they're not there anymore. But no, I mean, a little group like that, stick in some Mollis. The only frigate to get a sensor damp bonus with it. Stick in some Logi,
Mollis.
Burst 2. I mean, just for fun.
I honestly think there's a lot of fun to be had. I think there's a lot of focus with a lot of people. It's you want to fly what everyone sees as the most economical option, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're going cap hunting, like strikers, it's kind of the be all end all. And you can do it with other ships, you can do it with bombers, but we did the maths. I think it's 2 strikers to the average Ratten carrier.
Mm.
You could take it 2 strikers. I actually think you could take it with 1 a lot of the time. Same if you're going battleship hunting, bombers, absolutely incredible at the job.
Yep.
Bashing miners, you've got Cove Ops cruisers, really good, really efficient, got the mid slots to actually hold them down. Solo roaming battleship, I mean, you got the Hyperion, Maelstrom, probably 2 of the most popular options. I think that's why we see a lot of the same things, is because people see what works, right? And I don't think people always want to try and come up with something new. They just want to go with what works.
Right. Or the common meta that everybody's chasing at the moment.
For sure.
Yep.
And you look at even my Hyperion videos that I've put up, they're very much inspired by ARE 34, Virtual PGE, And those guys, right? The fit is very similar.
Yep.
Even I'm guilty of it myself, but when you try, even sometimes when you try and come up with something new, you kind of end up settling on the on what's established anyway, right?
Sometimes you do. Sometimes you do.
And other times you end up with spider tanked worms. I loved the look of that fleet. It looked like so much fun.
Very much so. Worms are fun. Okay. With all of that said, I think that's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to call it a night. That was a good show, good 2 hours. Went over the balance patch, went over all the new stuff that was rolled out at CCP Fanfest that somewhat impacts us, somewhat doesn't impact us. Again, BLOPS. That's going to be an awesome thing coming. For those of you that are ratting and mining in Cobalt Edge, be ready for a spike in need for those resources because I believe those are coming. That'll be fun. Worms are fun. Exactly, Reaper. And I am skilled out of small drones on Taylor, so that sucks. But whatever. Yeah, Rambo's going to be jealous. We did a 2-hour show without him. All right, with all that said, I closed my iPad because it was out of juice, so I can't play the outro. I'll have to add it afterwards in post. With that said...
Taylor.
Yeah.
I have an idea.
Go for it.
Why don't you sing the outro?
Nah, no. It's just music. It's not...
On.
No, thank you. I'm not Gwari. I don't have that sexy voice to be able to do that. So,
I'd offer if it wasn't 4 a.m. and my neighbors would complain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's 10 o'clock at night here, and my daughter keeps coming in. That's what the interruption was before. Something's off with her area where she doesn't have lights or electricity in part of her in her little apartment she's gotten. So I got to fix that. Oh boy, always something, right? All right, we will see everybody here again next week. Be watching for when the trivia show comes back around over on the official Eve Echoes Discord. That'll be fun. As soon as I hear some more about those dual Omegas to give away, we'll get those for you. Be sure to go and view, our channel that we have for you guys, New Eden Content Creators. Over there, we've got... obviously, Empress Huntress, Latorra, and his stuff he puts up, all of his PvP content, and, of course, Damon Zell. He's got multiple videos up there, too. And Muffin, I haven't seen a video from you in a while. You got to pull one up over there, buddy. And, of course, Juby's got his stuff over there as well. Those are all of our sponsored content creators that I'm scrolling through right now. If you want to get on that channel, send a DM to Rambo. You can. It doesn't cost you anything. At least I don't think he's making money off of you guys doing it. I'm pretty sure it's free. All good. And with that,
I'm still waiting for my first ship check.
I'll let Rambo know. All right, with that, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for coming.
Solid.